This is David Morgan of the MorganReport.com, and this is the MIF Metals Investors Forum backstage. And I am backstage with Andrew Pollard of Black Rock Silver. Andrew, it's good to see you, even though it's electronically,
It's great
and
to
a
be here.
lot going on. So, you guys are coming pretty close to your maiden resource on your project. Can you tell us more?
Yeah, well, listen, we only started drilling this project, coming up about a year and a half ago. I mean, we picked up Tonopah in April of 2020. We started drilling it in June of 2020, and here we are, 115,000 meters of drilling later, and we're going to wrap up everything we've done and put a pretty bow on it of what's hoping to be a very high grade silver and gold resource in the heart of Nevada on private land. And I think that's really what the market's been waiting for. We've had a lot of buying come in over the past few weeks. I think what's going on with the backdrop of the gold and silver markets is after a dismal year and a half or so from just the tides going out purposes, people are finally starting to care again, and we've made some big steps forward in the last little while simply because we've been catalyst rich. We've certainly got some jurisdictional advantages, which are becoming a lot more top of mind for investors, given what's going on with the rest of the world and Russia specifically, but South and Central America too. And looks like a lot of money's found a recent new home for themselves in BlackRock Silver, and yeah, we're got to be the most catalyst-rich company in the silver space right now, with resource to look forward to very shortly here, and some major step-out drill holes that we've rushed from the lab and are hoping to get back right around that same time.
Well, we know grades vary drill hole to drill hole, but on aggregate, if you combine them all and kind of do an average, what's the average grade kind of?
Yeah, so we've got over 150 significant intercepts. We use a very high cutoff grade, far higher than most, but we're averaging over 3 grams gold and just under 300 grams silver in each intercept. So you look at those individually, a lot of companies would be happy with just that gold, or lots of silver companies would be doing cartwheels for 300 grams silver. But when you marry the two, it averages well north of 500 grams per ton silver equivalent, irrespective of what you want to be doing. But in Tonopah, it's just silver and gold in what we're drilling. There's no lead, there's no zinc, there's no copper. And it's roughly 100-to-1 ratio in terms of what we're drilling. So high grade, effectively bonanza grade district in the context of silver.
So if I did my math head right, you're looking at about 15 ounces of silver equivalent if we put it all into 500 grams, um, which is quite robust, obviously.
Yeah, there's lots of underground mining companies making money hand over fist with a lot less. I think First Majestic's mining San Dimas down in Mexico with at around 125 grams per ton. So, in the grand scheme of things, this would be assuming the resource comes out in line with, averages out in line with what these intercepts average out. This would be one of the highest grade undeveloped silver projects globally on the planet. And when you look at what's going on in South and Central America, it's easily the most exciting high grade pure play story out there right now. I speak with lots of silver producers, and all of them are down in South and Central America, and all of them have the same headaches that they get from investors. They've all lost their mandate to do M&A in those areas, so they can't double down on the many other good drill stories out there. And once you remove the 90% of the market that's focused on those, I mean, there's really no other game in town that's hitting these high grades that aren't polymetallic plays, that aren't lead or zinc. It's very straightforward concept. That's why First Majestic was so keen to invest in us twice last year. They've also actually just recently made an investment in our next door neighbor, which is Suma Silver, just the other day as well. So it's clear that there's we're going to have a big target on our back once we get this resource out there, and it's clear that First Majestic certainly angling to set some roots out before that happens. But I wouldn't be surprised to see some action from a potential M&A target point of view move very soon after we put this resource out. And with an underground resource, it's the hard yards of actually doing it is actually just showing initial viability of a project, because underground resources require all the ounces that are done be economically, reasonably economically viable, meaning they have to be stoppable. So they actually put together an initial mine plan almost on the back of these underground resources. And anything that doesn't connect, say if something's too skinny or if one high grade intercept's too far away from lower grade zones, they don't include that in there. So whatever we put out, uh, from Jump Street is going to show viability of this project from day one, and it's going to show a starting place. But what I'm most looking forward to is these step outs we have in the lab, because the last drill holes we did at the project, I guess early this year, were 2 kilometers beyond where the resource envelope finishes off of this, and it's the same vein system that we're projecting. So to put that in context, our resource is based off about 800 meters of strike. These step outs are 2 kilometers beyond, and we certainly know we're where the vein's projecting. We certainly know that we hit some alteration where that vein should be projecting. The only question is it mineralized and to what extent? And if that's the case, man, the lid on this thing blows off, because that our story becomes really, really easy to follow once people can see 800 meters of drilling equals these tons at this grade, these ounces. Then you just break out the ruler and say, oh my goodness, these guys hit that far away. That's the upside potential. So not only are we backstopping evaluation, we'll have once we get these step outs back from the lab, that will lay the groundwork for the mother of all phase 2 resource expansion programs that we hope to kick off on the back of that, and really connect the dots between there. So we'll see. But this next month is going to be probably the biggest thing we've had to look forward to since we started drilling this thing.
Well, you can feel your excitement, and I am happy for you. As you know, we wrote up Black Rock in the Morning Report some many months ago. I want to touch base on a couple other things. One, you said, there seems to be interest in the silver market again. And so I want to expand on that. Is it because of the current economic conditions, or what do you see as the catalyst
Well, I
for?
always saw, yeah, yeah. Well, one of the reasons why we were happy, knowing in advance that we'd be targeting to have a resource out for the end of March here, was simply that the Fed had signaled for a long time that they were going to start hiking as of March, and it looks like they're starting on that process now. And historically, the beginning of rate hike cycles tend to do precious metals tend to do very well. It certainly looks like there's going to be a bit of stagflation moving forward, and that's an environment that gold and silver both seem to do very well in as a store of wealth. And so that's something that I was always looking forward to. I thought that March was always going to be a good time, a good environment to release this in, and that's playing out according to plan. Now, the biggest wrench in all of this is what's obviously going on geopolitically in the Ukraine and with Russia. Russia is the fourth largest producer of silver globally. That market's no longer online. Chile is also talking about nationalizing their reserves. They're one of the top 10 producers globally, or at least nationalizing to the point where making sure that most of the profits stay with the government. Peru, there's all this, there's all these issues there that Hochschild's facing. Pan American Silver just mentioned that they're got an illegal blockade at one of their mines. Then you got Mexico. You've got a wrench thrown into pretty much 7 or 8 out of the top 10 producing silver countries globally. Where there's not a wrench globally is Tonopah, Nevada, where we have private land at that. So we're sitting pretty right now, and I think this is the biggest shift. I mean, I hope what's happening in the Ukraine gets resolved peacefully, quickly. But I think the Fed is going to be the big driver moving forward, and money. The easy money has been made. It's rolling over. The meme stocks are done. They're looking, all that money's looking to find a safe haven home. And I think gold and silver will start to regain their luster there moving forward.
Very good. Well, we've run out of time, Andrew. I'm looking forward to seeing you at the 121 conference in Las Vegas, which is about a week or so away. And wish you every success. Of course, we will continue to follow the story. And just a tip to our viewers, hope you don't mind, but Suma's right next door to you, so we have to keep an eye on them as well.
There you go. I don't know if we're going to be predator or we're going to be prey, but everyone's wondering how long it's going to take for that district to be consolidated and brought together as one again. And I think you're seeing some First Majestic certainly making some plays. So we'll see what happens. But great time to be watching both companies. They're drilling now too.
Very good. Thank you.